let's look at this question from CAT 2018 DILR section. "1,600 satellites were sent up by a country for several purposes. The purposes were classified as broadcasting, communication, surveillance, and others. A satellite can serve multiple purposes. However, a satellite serving either B or C or S does not serve O. Okay. The following facts are known about the satellites, and then there is information given. Okay. Uh, there is a lot of information given about overlap of B, C, and S, and some overlap between B, C, and whatever. Then there are questions about what can be best said about the number of satellites serving C. What is the minimum possible number of satellites serving B exclusively? If at least 100 of the 1600 satellites were serving O, what can be said about the number of satellites serving S? Okay. If the number of satellites serving at least 2 among B, C, and S is 1200, which of the following must be false? We have these questions, these options in front of us. So from the initial look, what this tells me is this question is about maximizing and minimizing different regions in a set, and therefore the best way to move forward would be to create a Venn diagram and recording the appropriate information. Let's go ahead and do that. We have 1600 satellites, okay, and the purposes were classified as broadcasting, communication, surveillance, and others. Let's record that. I have one circle for broadcasting, another circle for communication, and yet another circle for surveillance. Okay. The number of satellites serving BCS, though may not be exclusively, are in the ratio 2:1:1. Okay, so this is 2x, this is x, this is x. Fine. The number of satellites serving all three of BCS is 100. So this region is 100. Fine. The number of satellites exclusively serving C is same as the number of satellites exclusively serving S. The number is 30% of the number of satellites exclusively serving B. So if this is 10A, this is 3A, and this is 3A. Okay, fine. Now at this time itself, you can draw an inference. See, this region is common to both C and S. 3A is same. 100 is same. These are the only two regions that are not interacting, but because the total circle for C and the total circle for S is same, can I say that this region, let's call it B, and let's also call this B, these two would also be same, because these two are same, these two are common regions, these two are same, so these two also have to be identical. Okay, the number of satellites serving others is the same as the number of satellites serving both C and S but not B. Okay, so if others are outside, let's call others here, and I'm saying the total number here is C. The number that you get here will also be C. Okay, fine. We have managed to record all the information. There is a question based on maximizing and minimizing different regions in a Venn diagram. My challenge here is that I have currently 4 variables in the running. There is an X, there is an A, there is a B, there is a C. There are 4 variables in the running. How do I reduce the count of variables to make my working manageable? Okay. First thing I can see is B is twice of C or S, whichever way you want to go. B is twice of C or S. So I'm doing B is twice of C right now. B is twice of C. So 10A plus 2B plus 100 is equal to 2 times of 3A plus C plus B, plus 100. 10A plus 2B plus 100 is equal to 2 times of 3A plus C plus B plus 100, and you open that up, you get 10a plus 2b plus 100 is equal to 6a plus 2c plus 2b plus 200. Fine. 2b and 2b will cancel, and then I would get 4a minus 100 is equal to 2c, or c is equal to 2a minus 50. Why I am going down this route is I want to replace the extra variables that are there in the storyline with a singular variable. So my target is to replace c with a. So I get this 2a minus 50 here and 2a minus 50 here. This c is no longer relevant for me. This variable has no value. Okay, the other thing that I know of is all the satellites together add up to give me 1600. So let me record that information. Let's see how many A's I have. 10A, 3A, 2A, 3A, 18A plus 2A. So 20A in total. How many B's do I have? B and B plus 2B. 20A plus 2B. Okay. Plus 100 minus 50 minus 50. So it all cancels out. 100 minus 50 minus 50 cancels out to give me a total of 1600, or 10a plus b is equal to 800, or b is equal to 800 minus 10a. b is equal to 800 minus 10a. So let me remove these also. 800 minus 10a, and this would also be 800 minus 10a. Now the amazing thing is all the regions in this Venn diagram, outside, inside, wherever you choose to go, all of them are in terms of A only. So you can come up with the maximum and minimum limits. See, because all these regions in this Venn diagram are supposed to represent the number of satellites, and the number of satellites can never not be a whole number. You cannot have minus 3 satellites anywhere. So all those regions where you have a minus something, or you have something minus a, those are interesting for us. See, a minus something, you have two expressions, 2a minus 50, 2a minus 50. These regions are supposed to be whole numbers, so 2a minus 50 has to be greater than equal to 0, or 2a has to be greater than equal to 50, or a has to be greater than equal to 25. We have found our lower limit for a. A can be, minimum A can be is 25. The other region that we pay attention to is 800 minus 10a. So 800 minus 10a, if this has to be greater than equal to 0, 10a has to be less than equal to 800, or a has to be less than equal to 80. This now gives me the upper limit for a. So a, the only variable left in our running, can range anywhere from 25 to 80. We have found this range. Let's get to individual questions. What can be best said about the number of satellites serving C? Number of satellites serving C would be 3a plus 2a minus 10a. So net total would be minus 5a, and the mathematical total would be 800 plus 100, so 900 minus 50. 850 minus 5a. This is the total number of satellites serving it. Now, if a was taken as 25, one of the limits, I would get 850 minus 125. So I would get one limit as 725. If a was taken as 80, 5 into 80 is 400. 850 minus 500, or 850 minus 400 would lead me to 450. Therefore, the number of satellites serving C would be 450 to 725, and that is option A. So we mark that as the answer. Question 2. What is the minimum possible number of satellites serving B exclusively? Serving B exclusively is given by 10A. The minimum possible value of A is 25. So, minimum possible number of satellites serving B exclusively would be option D, 250. Question 3. If at least 100 of the 1600 satellites were serving O, what can be said about the number of satellites serving S? Okay. Others were 2a minus 50, and we've been told, see, previously we were working with 2a minus 50 is greater than equal to 0. Now we've been told 2a minus 50 is greater than equal to 100, or 2a is greater than equal to 150, or a is greater than equal to 75. Our lower limit for a has been redefined. Now for this question only, a can range from 75 to 80. A can range from 75 to 80. Okay, so we've been asked what can be said about the number of satellites serving S. Number of satellites serving S, if we are looking at, number of satellites serving S, can you see this expression that we had come up with for C, total number of satellites serving C, would remain the same for S. So it is still 850 minus 5a. It is just that a's value will range from 75 to 80 now. Okay, so the lower limit would still be 450. The lower limit would still be 450. 5a is 5 into 80 is 400. 850 minus 400 is 450. The upper limit would be edited. 5 into 75 is 375. When you remove 375 from this, you reach 475. So the range of values for S for this question would be 475. Let's look at that. If at the options given are at most 475, seems like it exactly 475, not necessary, at least 475, no, nothing, no. The answer will be option A, at most 475. Let's look at question number 4. If the number of satellites serving at least 2 among B, C, and S is 1200, which of the following must be false? Okay, must be false. At least 2 among the 3 is given by these 4 regions. These 4 regions add up to give me how much? 800, 800, 1700 minus 50. So 1650. I will need to erase some portions off. Let me get rid of this. So I have 1650 minus 10a plus 2a. So minus 18a is equal to 1200. This is what the question tells me. So I get 18a is equal to 450, or a is equal to 25. Now I precisely know the value of a. Okay. If the number of satellites serving at least 2 among B, C, and S is 1200, which of the following must be false? The number of satellites serving C cannot be uniquely determined. This is false. This is definitely false, because number of satellites serving C we had identified as 850 minus 5a. Now that I have a precise value for A, I can find out the number of satellites serving C. So this should be the answer, but for the peace of our mind, we will also check the other options. The number of satellites serving B is more than 1000. Let's see if number of satellites serving B is more than 1000. So if this was 850 minus 5a, this should be 1700 minus 10a. B should be 1700 minus 10a, twice of C. A is 25, so yes, it is more than 1000. So this is not false. This will not be the answer. All 1600 satellites serve B or C or S. To A. Yes, all 1600 satellites do indeed serve B or C or S. So this is also not false. The number of satellites serving B exclusively is exactly 250. Yes, this is also not false, because number of satellites serving B exclusively is 10A. The value of A has been asserted to be 25. So this is also not false. Therefore, our answer to this question will be option A.